Hey Sally, I just wanted to let you know that I'm gonna be getting back home a little early today. I hope that tonight we can talk a little more.
Ugh, Harry, do you really think there's anything left to talk about between us? We're going to get divorced. What else is there to even discuss?
But I don't understand why we're getting divorced. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I don't know what you want me to do. It's not my job to convince you, but I have said all that I have to say. I mean, you were the one who thought that I was cheating on you, right?
Well, I thought that you would want to change your ways for the good of the family, you know? And besides, I was just suspicious. I didn't know that you were actually cheating on me.
Well, you found out. I admitted to it, and I agreed to pay you money to settle all of this. I don't want to live with you anymore, Harry. Can you please just sign the divorce papers and stop dragging this out longer than it needs to be?
Wait, please, I'm begging you. I get that you want a divorce, but it's only been a week since we talked about that.
Well, why drag this out any longer? I know that I don't love you anymore. I don't want you to raise my children, and I don't want to be married to you. Besides, I've already fallen in love with someone else. I don't see the point in making this last any longer than it really needs to.
But you can't really mean that, right? I mean, I worked so hard to make as much time for our family as I could.
I know you did, and I'm not saying that you're a bad father or husband. You're good at both of those things. But whenever I think of you, I just don't feel that spark that I used to when we first got together.
Do you really dislike being with me that much, Sally?
I'm sorry, but I really do, and nothing is going to change my mind about it.
But what about Lyra? We have to talk about who will be taking custody of her.
Well, she's already said that she wants to come with me, so that's settled.
What do you mean?
Are you really even that surprised? I mean, when was the last time that you and her even talked together, huh?
Well, I'm always doing my best to reach out to her, but ever since she started middle school, I feel like she just ignores me.
That's because she's sick of how obnoxious you can be. Do you really think that a daughter who doesn't even enjoy talking to you would want to go and live with you?
But I want to talk to her. It's like you think I don't try.
Well, she doesn't want to talk with you. What don't you get about that? Honestly, you just need to think about this more clearly.
But I've always been there for Lyra before this. I mean, we raised her together, but now she's staying with your parents while we're figuring all this out. So I can still go and visit her on the weekends, right?
No, I didn't mention this to you earlier, but she's actually started staying with my new boyfriend's family.
Wait, you can't be serious about that, right?
Well, you already knew that I was seeing this guy behind your back, right? When I told his parents that you and I were breaking up, he said that they would happily watch Lyra while we solved all of this.
So then you're just leaving our daughter with complete strangers? Why are you involving our daughter with the man you cheated on me with?
I think you're confused. You're the one who may as well be a stranger. Once we're divorced and I take Lyra, you're going to be nothing to either of us anymore, get it? So you can just go ahead and stop acting like you're worried about it.
Sally, you can't do things like this! This is taking things way too far!
Oh, I am so sick of dealing with you, Harry. If you really want to talk to Lyra that bad, then go message her. Just don't expect her to ever get back to you. From this day on, the two of us are going to live with my boyfriend, and that's that.
Wait, Sally, please don't go! Can't we just talk about this for a little longer?
What's the point? We're just going to end up saying the same things over and over. It's not going to change anything, and it's going to be a waste of time. You need to accept the facts and sign the divorce papers. I want this over with by the end of the month. Hey, Dad. I heard from Mom that you wanted to talk to me.
Lyra? Is that really you?
Of course it is. But Mom is gone because it's Friday, so she has her Pilates.
Oh, right. I guess that makes sense. I can't believe she's still going to that while all this is going on, though.
Well, you know how much Mom loves to keep up with her schedule.
I know. I just wanted to say how sorry I am that you're having to go through all this right now, Lyra.
I don't really mind all that much, actually. I mean, Mom seems really happy, and I don't think she would be that way if she was still living with you.
I see. So then you really think she's happier without me? I also heard that you were going to be changing schools after that divorce. Are you okay with that happening?
Well, Well, since I'll have a totally new name after Mom and Chris get married, I'm more thinking of it as a fresh start.
Well, I guess I'm glad that you seem to be taking all this so well, Lyra. I'm just curious, are you actually looking forward to living with your mom and this Chris guy? I know that we haven't been as close as we used to be, and I want you to know that you can always come and stay with me whenever you want to. I would do anything for you, and I want you to know that.
Oh, wow, that is lame. I can't believe it. Do you really think I would ever want to go and live with you?
I just mean, well, if it's something that you wanted. I don't know, I just think that a lot of things are changing for you, and I want you to know that you have options. I mean, you'll be living with some strange new guy, and I just don't want you to be uncomfortable or unhappy.
And you think that I'd be more comfortable and happy being with a boring old fart like you?
Hey now, you don't need to call me names, you know?
Why are you still talking as if we're friends? Don't you realize that your wife and daughter hate you? Why can't you see that yet?
Now, Lyra, I know that puberty can be a time when a lot of strange changes are happening in your body and mind. I'm wondering if that doesn't have something to do with why you're keeping your distance from me.
I don't know if you knew this, but I knew that Mom was seeing this other guy since I was in elementary school. Chris is way younger than you, and he's really rich too. I think Mom is making a great decision by leaving you.
But that would mean that you've known that Mom was seeing Chris behind my back for at least 2 years.
That's right. And I'm so happy that Chris is finally going to be my new dad. He never gets mad at me and always lets me do whatever I want. He's the best dad ever.
I see. So then I guess you're completely with your mom when it comes to this.
Of course I am. I'm never going to think of you as my dad ever again. So you might as well forget that you've ever got a daughter, got it?
If that's what you really want, then I won't say anything more. I'll sign the divorce papers, and then you and your mom can go and live with Chris.
Finally! I thought you were never gonna sign them. I'll tell Mom. I know she'll be really happy over this.
But, Lyra, are you sure that we can't meet in person just one last time? I just have some final things I'd like to say to you, since after the divorce, it really seems like it'll be goodbye for us.
Yeah, no, that sounds super awkward and boring. Both Mom and I hate you and never want to see you again. Don't you get that? Just hurry up and sign the papers so this can all finally be over. Hey, Dad. It's been a really long time since we last talked, hasn't it? How have you been? This is Lyra, in case you don't have my number saved.
Wait, Lyra? Is it really you?
So then you really do still remember me?
Of course I remember you, but I have to say that I am shocked that you're messaging me.
I thought you might be. I mean, I think the last time we talked like this was already more than 6 years ago. I'm in college now, you know?
That sounds about right. I was wondering if you'd started yet. Well, have you been? Are you doing well? Are you enjoying college?
Yeah, I guess things are okay for me.
Oh, well, that's really good to hear. I wish you the best in life, sweetie. Good luck with everything.
Hold on, you can't just go. Are you mad at me?
What do you mean?
Well, I just know that when you and Mom split up, I said some really awful things to you.
Oh, really? I guess I didn't really notice that you had...
Well, I just want you to know that I've always regretted treating you like that. I was just so angry at the world, and you were an easy target because of how much you loved me. So I want you to know that I'm truly sorry for the way I treated you.
I'll be honest, I said it had to do with age when we first split up.
Well, you were right. You were always so kind to me, and all I ever did was throw it back in your face in those days. But now I'm older, and I realize you're probably the kindest man I've ever known.
Lyra, where's all this coming from so suddenly? Haven't things been going well with your mom and Chris?
Well, Mom and Chris never even got married. In fact, apparently Chris had a whole other family and was married this whole time. We all lived together like one big family until about a year ago when Mom found out that Chris was a married man and everything fell apart.
Oh, wow. Well, that sounds like a real mess for everyone involved.
You really have no idea. And now Mom just found out that she's really sick.
Your mom is sick? With what? Does she know?
I don't know, but I think it's pretty serious. Maybe even life-threatening. But I guess maybe this is what Mom gets after doing so much hurt to a nice man like you.
I don't really know about that.
But anyways, I just wanted to let you know that Mom's in the hospital now, and I really need help. At this rate, I'll have to stop going to college. I didn't know who else to turn to, so that's why I reached out. I was wondering if I couldn't ask you for a little support with money.
You mean you want me to help and cover the cost of your school and stuff? But I thought that you told me to forget I ever had a daughter.
I knew it. You're still upset over the things I said back then.
No, I'm not upset, but I am just doing what you told me to do.
What do you mean? I don't get it.
I mean that you're not my kid. You belong to Sally and some other man. I don't mean this in some metaphorical way either. You are literally not my child. Your mom had you with some other man, and I knew that when we got married. Why do you think I never paid any child support after your mom and I got divorced?
Wait, what are you talking about? I had no idea about any of this.
Oh, I see. Well then, maybe I just should have kept my mouth shut. But it's true. I married your mom when you were about 4 years old. I guess maybe you were just barely too young to remember any of that, but I'm not your real father. Maybe that's why you never really liked me when I was with your mom.
No, that can't be right. And of course I loved you.
Well, it doesn't really matter now that we're all apart. And you don't have to worry about me, and I don't need to worry about you.
So then, you're really not going to help me out at all?
I'm sorry, but I just really don't know why I would do that. When we lived together, I really did think of you as my daughter, but not anymore.
But legally, I'm still your daughter, right? So I don't get why you wouldn't offer to help me at all.
I think you know exactly why I'm not helping you.
Ugh, I knew it! I knew that you were just a lousy father, just like the rest of them!
Lyra, I think it would be good if you spent some time away from your mom. If you ever get into any serious trouble, feel free to reach out, okay?
Hey, Harry! What the heck is your problem trying to turn Lyra against me?
I'm sorry, are you referring to me telling Lyra the truth about her life?
I don't need you going around telling her things that she doesn't need to know yet. We had a huge fight yesterday thanks to you.
I'm sorry, is Lyra an adult now or isn't she? You know that you can't just hide that part of her life forever, right?
Well, you're not even her real dad, so why do you think you get to be the one telling her that kind of thing?
Well, Lyra couldn't understand why I was acting the way I was to her, so I had to explain it to her in a way that I knew would stick.
I really can't believe you. And here I thought that you loved Lyra.
No, please, don't even try to pull something like that on me right now.
Well, did you hear about how I'm sick? And now Lyra's telling me it's all my fault she'll have to drop out of college. All she was asking for was help paying for her higher education, and you couldn't even give her that? Instead, you just told her to blame it all on me.
Well, it isn't my job to help her.
Oh, but why? You know that family is more than just about being connected by blood. I know that you do. You would have never treated Lyra like this when we were still married.
You can go ahead and stop right there. I bet that Lyra isn't even going to college, and I doubt that you're even really sick.
What do you mean?
You mean how did I know all of that? Well, that would actually be because my parents and I happened to do some digging around you and Lyra around the time that she finished high school.
Your parents looked into us? For what? What did they want?
They were trying to convince me to get remarried.
And what did Lyra and I have to do with that?
Well, they thought that if they could show me that you two were happy without me, then it might spur me to move on.
So then, did you get married?
I did actually, yes.
But I only got sick recently, so how did you hear about that?
Well, when Lyra told me that you were sick, I went to look at some of the social media profiles you had and saw you having the time of your life on various trips.
Well, maybe I just didn't post about being sick on my social media.
Maybe, but it certainly didn't look like you were hurting for money either. If things are really that bad for you, you could always just sell some of your expensive brand items. I see them in almost every photo that you upload.
No, I couldn't do that. Do you know how much time and effort went into getting all of those?
I think that if you were really on your deathbed, you wouldn't be saying that. So I guess it is all just a lie, isn't it? You were never sick to begin with.
Okay, the truth is that I'm in a lot of debt right now.
I take it that that comes from all your running around and having fun, yes?
I wasn't running around, I was trying to find ways to relieve all the stress I built up.
Well, you seem to find the most expensive ways of doing so.
My life has just been a mess ever since I left you. Chris turned out to be a married man and I was the other woman. His wife found out about me and then Chris left me. Then I met another guy who turned out to be a scammer and took all my money. You're the only person I can turn to now.
So, then you lied about being sick to try and get more money out of me, huh?
Well, I wasn't asking you for any help. I just lied about being sick.
That's right. You didn't ask because you had Lyra ask instead, isn't that right?
I just thought that she would be able to convince you to give her something at least.
Well, I don't get why you need Lyra to do your dirty work. She should have nothing to do with your debt.
I know, but she was trying to help me. But now you're the only person that I can turn to. So please help me out here. I'm sure that if you do, it will really make Lyra think of you as her father again.
And just why do you think that I would even want that?
Well, because you still love Lyra and you want her back in your life, right?
You don't know anything. In fact, after you had your fight with Lyra, she came crying to me about how she didn't want to grow up to be someone like you. And she said that she was going to move out.
Wait a second. Is that why I haven't seen Lyra? Because she's moved out?
That's right, and she said that she wants nothing to do with you ever again. Do you understand?
Now hold on, just 1 second. What am I supposed to do about next month's rent? Or groceries? How am I supposed to live if I can't use the money Lyra gets from her job?
That sounds like a you problem, Sally.
Give me back my daughter. You're not even her father, you can't just take her from me.
You seem to be awfully fickle about whether you want me connecting with Lyra based on what you want, but Lyra made this decision all on her own.
But Harry, without Lyra's help, I really won't be able to afford to live. You have to help me.
You've been living off of your daughter for this long. I think it's time for you to remember what it's like to be a responsible adult yourself.
I'm so sorry. I promise to pay you back every penny, but at least tell Lyra to come back to me.
Lyra wants you to know that she never enjoyed doing anything to help you, and she just didn't want you to hate her and be left with no one.
That's a lie. She chose me over you, and that's that.
I'm afraid that if you really think that, then you have no idea just who your daughter really is. But maybe now that you're all alone, this will give you more incentive to try and be a better person who Lyra would want to be around. I don't know what happened to Sally after that, and honestly, I don't really care. I'm sure that after she realized that, she had no one else to turn to for help. However, that she decided to step up and take care of herself. I blocked her on all social media, and I did my best to know a little about her as possible. As for Lyra, I asked my relatives to find a job for her in their hotel where she works at now and lives. Lyra has a long way to go, but I think she really is starting to come into herself as an independent adult. I even agreed to pay for her schooling as long as she keeps up with her work.
Hey, Roy. Is it really true that you moved back in with Grandma?
It is, but wow, I guess word must travel really fast for you to have already heard about that, huh?
I'm just wondering why you never talked to me about this before. You know that you're kind of putting Grandma in a tough spot, don't you? I mean, it's not just you moving in, you also brought your wife Harriet too, right?
I did, but I don't really see what the big deal is. I mean, we're all family, and Grandma really shouldn't have a problem accommodating the two of us.
Of course we're all family, but don't you think you kind of dropped this on her suddenly?
I don't get it. What do you mean by that? She's always talking about how she wants to come and visit.
Right, but the last time you were living with her was when you were in your 20s, right? Besides, coming to visit is very different from moving in. You know that, right?
Are you talking about how I had to leave because it was becoming too much for Grandma to deal with? That was when I was younger. That was then, and this is now, okay?
But you really did do a lot to hurt Grandma, and I don't think you've ever taken accountability for that.
Except that I literally just did. I get that what I did when I was younger wasn't right of me to do.
Well, I just really hope so. I mean, she's the one who raised us ever since our parents died when we were little. But you always seem to hate living with them because they had their own house way out in the country.
And I was used to living in the city when Mom and Dad were still alive. What's your point? Was I supposed to be a happy-go-lucky teenager after our folks died and we had to move out to the middle of nowhere? We had to leave our friends and then go out there where there's all kinds of bugs and animals, and it was a lot for me.
I know. I was there too, remember? I know it was tough. But I'm just saying that you took out your frustrations with the situation on Grandma. And then, after you graduated high school, you just left the house without saying a word and didn't talk to us for years.
You're right, and that was a mistake that I made that I should have never done.
So then, why did you decide to come back now? That's what I want to know. And why bring your wife with you?
Well, because I'm older now and I've really been thinking about living a life out in the city lately. Not to mention that it's something my wife wanted to try and do as well. I figured that Grandma was still living out here, so it was the perfect chance to move out there.
I get that, but you just showed up at her door with all your bags. You never warned her that you were coming at all.
Nah, I did ask her, and she said that it was fine if I came back to live with her. She said that it was okay, and then I went back, get it?
Well, I don't think that she understood that you were going to be moving into her home. She probably thought you were just coming to visit her.
Well, I don't really get what the big deal is. Her house is way too big for one person, and there's plenty of room for Harriet and I here.
I get that, but it's still Grandma's house. I mean, she had never even met Harriet before now. You really should have made sure that she understood you meant to live with her before you went over.
Look, you also moved out of Grandma's place, right? Last I heard, you were working in the city.
Yeah, that's right, but I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Basically, this is none of your business now, and you shouldn't be getting upset with me.
I'm just asking you to be a bit more considerate of what Grandma has done for us, and that you don't take advantage of her kindness. You can't just run around expecting everyone to change their life plans for you at the drop of a hat.
So you're telling me you think Grandma should have just kept on living out there all on her own with no one to take care of her?
I was a bit worried for her, actually, if you must know.
You know that her knees are starting to give out and she can't do all that she used to. That's why I'm here to help her out.
And what about your wife, Harriet? Her and Grandma have never even met. Even I've never met her. We didn't even know that you were married until well after the fact. But you're really all just gonna live together and get along?
Of course, Harriet isn't fussy and she's really adaptable to different situations.
Well, I hope so. But either way, I really feel like you went about this the wrong way.
No, it's a bit late to undo anything now, but it's fine. There's nothing to worry about at all.
Well, I still am worried, okay? Anyways, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be going back to her place soon, too. I want to see you and I want to meet your wife.
Oh, you don't really need to do that, you know?
Well, I want to and I will, so there. I want to make sure that you're treating Grandma well. I also want an apology from you for all that you've done. Roy, what's the matter with you? Did you really throw our grandmother out of her own house? What were you thinking? Why would you do something like that?
What are you talking about? All I did was ask her politely to move out.
Of her own home? You basically just stole her house from her. I can't believe that you would do something like that.
Look, Grandma was not taking care of that house on her own, so I suggested that she move into a retirement home instead. I don't really get what's so horrible about that.
Please tell me that that's supposed to be some kind of bad joke. You literally stole her house right from under her. You know how much she loved that house.
But she's getting so old. The house was a mess when I first got here.
Well, then why don't you just help her take care of the house since you're the one who showed up there and said you would be living there? I thought you said that you moved back there to help take care of Grandma.
Oh, right. Well, I was helping that at first, but then I realized that Grandma wasn't getting her fair share and was just getting in the way more than anything.
I don't believe it. This was always your plan from the beginning, wasn't it?
Hey, do you watch YouTube ever?
I do? But what does that have to do with anything at all?
Well, there's a big trend for videos about country living, and I just really want to tap into that viewership and go viral. I figured that if I could fix up Grandma's house and get her out of there, that it would be the perfect setting to start a new channel from.
And that's the reason why you kicked our grandma out of her house?
I mean, that isn't the only reason. When this place is even more fixed up, I want to turn it into an Airbnb. People are always wanting to go to the country and try and experience how life is out here. But if Grandma was still hanging around, I think that she would just bum people out and make them not want to stay.
I don't even know what to say to you anymore, Roy.
Don't tell me you're jealous of my great idea. I'll bet that you're kicking yourself for not thinking of this first.
That's not it at all. I'm just sick and tired of the way that you've been treating our poor grandma.
She was doing just fine. She had this huge place all to herself. But this house was wasted on her, and I'm actually gonna make something out of it. Besides, it's not like she's gonna be around for much longer anyway.
You made a big mistake though, Roy. You're through, do you know that?
Through? Me? No, I'm actually just getting started. I found the deed to the house while I was cleaning up the place, and now it's in my possession, which means that I own it.
I still can't believe that you would do this. She took us in after our parents died and gave us a place to sleep and 3 meals a day. How could you turn around and treat her like this? I won't let you get away with this, you know.
And just what are you or Grandma gonna do about it, huh? I'll bet that you're just upset because you know that when our parents died, they hardly had anything left to give us. And now you're just mad because I realized that that meant our only real inheritance was what our grandma owned, and now I have it.
Do you really think that's what I'm upset about?
You're just pretending to be upset over Grandma so you can build your claim to the house. But it's already mine, and you can't have it. And Grandma can't do anything about it either.
Well, I'm not going to let Grandma live the rest of her life in some retirement home. I'll take her in and take care of her.
You do that. It'll save me the trouble of having to find something for her. But I hope you realize that you're still not getting a single cent out of this house.
I wasn't thinking about that at all, actually.
I've taken all of Grandma's stuff, it's all mine. But good luck taking care of her. I doubt you'll be able to make much off of her pension checks. Anyway, I don't have anything more to say to you. But just know that I never want to see you around here ever again.
Grandma, really sorry to keep you waiting. I just got off work now, and I'm on my way to pick you up.
Oh, don't worry about that, Ren. I just arrived at the bus station now, so I haven't been waiting at all. If anything, I'm the one who should be sorry for sucking you into this mess.
Grandma, please, you have nothing to apologize for at all. You didn't do anything wrong. The only person who's in the wrong here is my pig-headed brother, Roy. Honestly, I still don't get what he was thinking doing this to you, but I couldn't stand by and leave you alone after that.
You really are such a sweet girl, do you know that? And even I never saw anything like this coming at all.
I know, I'm so sorry this happened to you, Grandma, but we'll get your house back, I promise.
Oh, don't worry about that either. There would be no point.
Grandma, don't say that. You can't give up hope. You really don't want your house back?
No, it really is better this way, maybe.
Come on, I know that it's a bit rural, but it's not like the house was falling apart. I'm sure that it's still worth a lot of money. Or is this about Roy stealing the deed? Because I'm sure that it's still under your name and you still have every right to the property.
No, it isn't that either. In fact, I'm not worried that Roy has the deed at all anyway.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that living out in the country is no easy task, especially when you have a big house to take care of as well. There were so many things that needed repairing when I left there, so many creeks that needed attending to.
I see, but I think that Roy might already be aware of some of those problems.
Don't you worry, Ren. I'm sure that before long we'll be hearing Roy sing quite a different tune.
Hey, Ren, just curious, is Grandma there?
Give me one reason why I should have to answer that question, Roy.
Well, she isn't answering any of my messages when I've tried reaching out to her.
And what do you even want with her?
Well, things are kind of a mess over here, to be honest.
A mess? Kind of mess. What do you mean by that?
Well, for one, the trash collectors never pick up any of our trash, and all the neighbors have been really mean, and it's been so tough trying to buy from folks around here. I've been having to drive all the way back into town just to get some groceries.
I see. Yeah, that sounds like you're in quite the pickle.
I really didn't think that Grandma's neighbors would be so standoffish, but I guess there's not much else you can expect from backwards hicks like these.
Are you sure that they're not all just mad at you, Roy? Maybe it might have something to do with you stealing Grandma's house from her. I'm sure that no one liked watching that happen.
But I'm actually making good use of the house. I'm gonna make money off of this. It's my birthright. Surely I'm entitled to at least this. You're just jealous of me.
I'm not jealous, but you're clearly still not over our parents' passing.
You have no idea what you're talking about at all.
Actually, you're the one who doesn't know anything. When our parents passed, the only thing they had to leave us with was their debt. That's why nobody wanted to take us in. No one but Grandma, that is.
Debt? Wait, what are you talking about? I don't know anything about debt.
I heard the whole story from Grandma, so you can choose to believe it or not.
So then, Grandma was the one that took it all on?
That's right. You were always so upset for never being left anything by our parents, but it was actually Grandma who saved us from being saddled with that debt, and who raised us as her own after our parents passed.
Ugh, fine, I get it. You can tell her that she can move back here if she wants to, I guess.
I'm afraid that it's too late for that. Grandma isn't going to move back into that house.
What do you mean?
Well, you said that you were going to put her in a home, right? Instead, I found her a lovely condo unit geared for the elderly. And I can live with her there as her caretaker.
But wait, Grandma's still healthy, right? There's no need for her to live in a place like that. And how is she supposed to take care of her garden and stuff?
Roy, who do you think kicked her out of her house and separated her from the only life she knew in the first place?
Well, sure, but I didn't realize that Grandma took on all the debt after our folks died.
I don't care. You're still not addressing the main problem, which is that you kicked our grandma out of her house.
Well, tell her that I'm sorry and I didn't know the full story. Please, this house is seriously a mess. The water heater isn't working, there's leaking from the ceiling. I need to know what else needs fixing here.
Why don't you just go online and hire a contractor to take a look at it?
I tried calling, but no one is going to be able to come out this far for a long time. Grandma's the only one that knows this place better than I do.
Yeah, Grandma was also a pretty big deal around town as well. Everyone knew and loved her there, and you kicked her out. It's just like Grandma said.
Hold on a sec. Has that old hag been spreading rumors about me to all these hicks? Is she the one telling them to act like total jerks to me?
It's not that at all. What you don't understand about living out there is that people don't think like they do in the city. They help each other out when their neighbors are in need. That's how people live out there. You've already proven yourself to be someone who could never understand that mindset.
Wait, no, please. I really am so sorry. Tell Grandma that she can come back here and we can figure something out. I haven't gotten any real work down here. Everyone is mean, and even Harriet is saying that she wants to move away.
Well then, why don't you just move away?
Because I've already sunk all my money into this damn house! We moved here because I was positive that this would be a sure thing, but nothing has gone how I thought it would.
Well, then it sounds to me like the only person you can blame this mess on is yourself. If you really think life out in the country is so hard, you shouldn't have moved out there in the first place.
You're right, I messed up. I should never have kicked Grandma out, so please, you have to help me. I promise I'll never do anything like this ever again.
I already told you that it's too late. Grandma isn't going to be moving back there. Especially not to go and help you, the way that you had betrayed her.
But I don't have any more. Tell her that she can move in and pay me rent and that'll fix everything.
I really don't think that Grandma would ever want to live in the same space as you ever again. You had your chance to make things work with her when you showed up to live there, but you even screwed that up.
But then, could you at least tell her to send me a little money every month to help with expenses? Even just some money to move out would be great.
Stealing her house wasn't enough. Now you want her to pay you? You must seriously be crazy.
Please, Ren, I'm begging you here. We're siblings, we help each other, right? This whole mess could cost me my marriage. What will I have after that?
I already told you, you had your chance to play the family card before you kicked Grandma out, and I hope your wife does leave you. That's what you get for what you did to the woman who took you in and raised you.
I'm sorry, okay? I'm so sorry. Please, you have to forgive me.
It's too late. We never want to hear from you ever again. So just leave us alone and deal with this mess and your own life on your own. I heard that about a month after our last conversation, Roy's wife Harriet moved back in with her parents. It wasn't long before Roy also gave up on the house and cut his losses. He tried selling the house, but it was quickly revealed that he had forged his signature on the deed and that it didn't even really belong to him. The divorce followed soon after that, and I don't know where Roy went. Of course, I don't really care what happened to him anyways. I'll never be able to forgive Roy for how he betrayed Grandma. He showed his true colors in that moment and gave us no other choice but to leave him. As for Grandma and I, we moved into that condo that I mentioned, and Grandma even started a community garden on the roof because she missed it so much. She sold her house in the countryside to pay for the rent, and even though she misses her old life, she always tells me how grateful she is that I stuck by her side. Meanwhile, although my life was thrown for a bit of a loop with all of this, I never stopped pursuing my own career and was more than happy to move in with Grandma. I thought that I would be so busy taking care of her that I would have to take on less work hours, but being in the condo seems to have reinvigorated Grandma. Now she seems more healthy than ever, and it's almost as if she's taking care of me more than I am of her. Of course, I still help out wherever I can, but she's a tough old woman who insists on doing many things herself. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.